Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. I hope you are doing great. And today we're going to be covering a topic that is, to my opinion, really important if you want to be playing around soloing over chord progressions, or even if you're playing on your own and you want to evoke some chord movements in your solo. And of course, that is arpeggios. So why are arpeggios so important? And to my opinion, they're even more important than scales, because they just use chord tones, and with a couple of extensions such as like major 6 or sharp 5s or dominant 7, flat 9, all that, you will get very dense arpeggios. For example, with an A major 7, sharp 11, you'll get a 5-note arpeggio. And if you add the 9, at some point we're going to sound like we're playing a scale. And that's why arpeggios are a must to master, because you don't really need to know all scale position. You kind of just want to know what's the triad and what are the extensions and how to find them. And this is why I'm doing this video, to help you out building arpeggios and understanding how to navigate around using them. So for any arpeggio, we will always refer to a triad. And what's a triad? Well, it's 3 notes. Usually we have a root and a fifth. They rarely change. And then we have a third, which is going to be major, 5 on the E string, 4 on the A string, and 7 on the A string. So that's A major. If you want to make it minor, you just lower the third by a half step. So A, C, 3rd fret of the A string, and then we have the 5th. And then there's one more that's going to be really interesting. It's the diminished triad. I'm not saying 7 diminished, right? I'm not saying the full diminished chord, but just the diminished triad, which means the 5th is lowered by a half step. So you have the root, the minor 3rd, and the flat 5. So if you just look at these shapes, they work over 2 strings, which means they're going to repeat exactly in the same way. If we keep this shape and move it up to the 2nd string set, so the D and G string, and move it up an octave. So octave, you just move up, you skip a string, and you move up 2 frets. And you get your A. So everything moves up 2 strings, 2 frets. And for the higher set, the B and E, you move it up 3 frets. So your first arpeggio, A major arpeggio. So we're moving this in this direction. And because these shapes just repeats, you can easily get them under your finger and just think about where is going to be the next octave available. Right? Now you can do the same thing with the minor triad by just lowering the 3rd. Let's do it with the diminished triad. So before we go any further, you want to be able to understand extensions. And basically, as we have our triad as the fundamental of the arpeggio, everything that's going to be an extension is going to happen in between the root and the 3rd, such as the flat 9, the 9, or the sharp 9, which is also, notice it, sharp 9 sounds like a minor 3rd. But if you get A7 sharp 9, it has a major triad, but a sharp 9. So you play, right? So flat 9, 9, sharp 9, then AK minor 3rd, then we reach major 3rd or flat 4. It's pretty rare, but it happens sometimes. Flat 4, So major third, then the fourth, augmented fourth, aka 11, sharp 11, so that's the fourth raised by the half step. This note is also the flat 5, and we move up, we get the fifth, then we get a sharp 5 or a flattened 6, then we get a major 6 or a double flat 7, then we get a minor 7, a major 7, and we're back to the root. So everything happens in between the root and the third, such as nines, the third and the fifth, such as fourth and flattened fifth, or the fifth and the root, such as sharp 5, flat 6, minor 7, major 7, and back to the root. So that's all the extensions you can get. It's not going to be any more than this. So far we've been playing in the root position, so starting on the root, A major, A minor, and A diminished. But you can use these repetitive shapes from the third. So I've been playing G major. So G major from the root will be the same position as A major, or just 2 frets down. So if you start from the B, here, 7th fret of the E string, you would do this shape, 7, 10, and 10, and repeat this over the 3 octaves available. Right? And again, remember, if you want to find the octave, you skip a string and you move up 2 frets. And you play the same shape. And from the B string, you start on the 12th fret. And you play the same shape. So now, let's do it over the 5th. So the 5th is D, so it's 10th fret of the E string, low E, and we will do this shape. Right, so it's 10, 10, and 14 on the A string. So 10, 10 on the A string, 14, same string, and repeat it over the octave. And you can do the exact same thing with the minor triad. So G minor here, starting from the third. And the diminished triad. And to make it easier to remember, you can go from the major triad, then lower the third, then lower the fifth. You can do that to all shapes. G major from B, lower the third, and then lower the fifth. And from D, G major, lower the third, and lower the fifth. So this way you'll be able to pick up arpeggios all over the fretboard and navigate around with them. Before we go any further, I'm not going to be covering all the possible arpeggios, there's just a bunch of them, but you can check the PDF lesson available over buymeacoffee.com, link in the description of the video. It's 20 pages worth of how to build triads, how to understand extensions, and then how to play around with them. And you will get a lot of examples from easy arpeggios to more complex ones. So let's take this one step further and just add the major 7. So the major 7 is a half step before the root. So our G major could have a major 7 with this F sharp 2nd fret of the E string. And then we just repeat that shape. And if you play it from the B, you get this shape. So the regular 7, 10, 10, but before the G here, 10th fret of the A string, you play the 9 right here. And repeat the shape. And from the 5th, you get this pretty funny shape that goes 10, 14, 10, 14 on the E and A string. Another pretty tasty extension to add to a major chord is to use the sharp 11. So once again, sharp 11, it's the fourth raised by a half step. So if we take the G major triad and we add the major 7, and now we also add a half step before the fifth, which is the sharp 4, aka sharp 11, you get this Leadian sound. Now let's do it from the third, which is 7, 9, 10, 9, 10. And let's do it from the fifth, so the major 7 shape. And you just play a half step before the fifth, so on the low E string, 9, 10, 14, 10, 14, and then play this an octave higher. Now let's try to do it with the minor 7 chord. So the minor 7 is a whole step before the root of the chord. And we need a minor third, so we lower this one, the B. So we'll have 1, 3, 1, 5. And if you want to do it from the third, you start 6th fret of the E string, the third, then the fifth, then a minor 7, and then G, 10th fret of the A string. And repeat this shape. And let's do it from the fifth, so we have this minor shape. Now we want to add the 13 on the low E string and repeat the shape. Now one very common extension to add to a minor chord is the 9. And the 9 is a whole step after the root, or a half step before the minor third. So we'll be playing the root, the 9, then the minor third, and a fifth. Then if you want to do it from the third, you could start here. So do a half step before the third, slide up to the third, then play the fifth and the root, and repeat this shape to the next octave. And now from the fifth, you would get the fifth, the root, the 9, and the minor third. Now to the diminished triad, let's add the minor 7. So we'll get this G half diminished sound, which is very commonly used in minor 2-5-1. So let's say we're in the key of F minor, you do G half diminished, C7, F minor. So the diminished triad. And as we want a minor 7, we can start a whole step before the root. And we get this shape. Now it's trying to start from the third, minor third, flatten fifth, a whole step before the root, and the root. So you get 6, 9, 8, 10. It's a pretty weird shape. I like to play it with these fingers. So first finger, ring finger, middle finger, then the pinky. And you can repeat this shape. And now from the flattened fifth, you get flat 5, minor 7, root, minor third. So that's all for today's lesson. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and that you get to learn a lot about arpeggios. Once again, if you want to take a deep dive into this concept, you can check out the PDF lesson over at buymeacoffee.com. It contains all the information you need to build arpeggios and play around with them all over the fretboard. And lastly, if you want to support the channel, feel free to like, subscribe, and maybe leave a comment about what you'd like to learn next. See you soon.